Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Ramchandra Babu, for giving me this opportunity to speak about my beloved God brother, His Holiness Kadamba Maharaj, who has left quite a lot of impression in my heart over the decades. So, thank you. And as I mentioned, yes, when you called and said, oh, speak today, and especially today being his appearance day from the English calendar. So, April 12th, 1953 to March 9th, 2023. His Holiness Kanana Maharaj ki jai. Om Agnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Grive Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanto Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Krita Chaitvaita Swami Hare Krishna. So giving some history about Kadamba Maharaj. Kadamba Maharaj was born on April 12th, 1953 in the town of Hempstead near Amsterdam. He started his spiritual life in Vrindavan, the holy land of Krishna, and immediately felt he found his home. He became a disciple of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami, who also happens to be my spiritual master and the disciple in turn of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In 1979, so he joined ISKCON in 1978, shortly after Srila Prabhupada's departure from this world, and served in Vrindavan from 1978 to 84 in various types of management. From the very beginning, he was a very expert manager, kirtaniya, and we'll see, it's all wonderful qualities throughout his life. He exemplified it to its fullest extent and gave a legacy to us to follow. He oversaw the construction of Srila Prabhupada Pushpa Samadhi in Mayapur and was a member of the Mayapur Administrative Council from 1985 to 1990. In 1990, he became the temple president of the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan and remained in that position until 1995-96. Many places it says 1995, but when I first met my godbrother Kadamba Maharaj, it was in 1996 in Vrindavan. At that time, he was still a temple president, so maybe at that time, maybe transitioning. Yeah. And in 1997, he received sannyas initiation from my Guru Maharaj Jayadvaita Swami. And from 1995 to 2023, he has been involved with preaching in South Africa, starting Rath Yatra in Soweto and many other places, attracting local South Africans, not the Indians residing in South Africa, but local South Africans. From 2000 to 2008, he had been involved with New Rajmandal farm in Spain and saw that the farm, saved the farm from being sold. Now the farm was going through some difficult phase, and he saved the farm from being sold and established a lot of devotees there, attracted a lot of devotees there by his preaching. From 2017 to 2022, we have been involved in New York City to help revive Brooklyn Temple and inspire many devotees in New York City area. And from 2001, he began his service as an initiating spiritual master. Normally, it's not an etiquette to initiate when his spiritual master is also in the planet, but my Guru Maharaj had kind of specially empowered Kadamba Maharaj to initiate. So he took that empowerment and initiated many, close to more than 1,000 disciples all over the globe. And throughout his life, he exemplified these 5 potent limbs of bhakti, which Sri Rupa Goswami mentions in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also references that in Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, 22nd chapter, 120th verse. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavat Shravana Mathura Vas Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. One should associate with devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside in Mathura and worship the deity with faith and veneration. Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Seva. Worship the deity with faith and reverence. Right till the last moment, that's his Giriraj deity. He worshipped, he traveled with this Giriraj deity throughout the world. And right till the last moment, he served with the Giriraj deity. Here we see also Sadbhuj deity. In his last few months, which I got an opportunity to be with him on and off in February and then in March, his program started at 5:30 to 6:30. There'll be so many. He had a whole team of devotees who would come and dress the deity, and then he had a team of Matajis who would make bhoga for the deities. That way, they remain engaged in deity worship with him right till the end. And by 6 o'clock or 6:15, the boga was offered, and then I remember in February he will also do kirtan for the deities, even for 5 minutes, but he will do kirtan for the deities, for the pleasure of the deities, right early in the morning after the boga is offered. And even the day when he left his body on March 9th, till the deity worship is not completed, right? No, we do at 2 o'clock in the morning, someone says left, and then he came back, and unsure that the deity worship is complete. So Sri Murtira Sevya, he exemplified this wing of bhakti to its fullest extent, and so gorgeously decorated the deities with so minute detail and served them with veneration, right, with awe and reverence. We all know he was a wonderful kirtaniya who would be invited to so many kirtan melas, sadhu sangha, or rath yatra. He would be leading kirtan, and high-pitched kirtan, absorbing everybody, making them dance, and non-stop till advanced devotees will say that as if almost that the harmonium will put it to death or something, but he will continuously play non-stop. I remember him coming to CNJ now for 2.5 hours. He will non-stop do kirtan, either our festivals or even the Sunday program. After Sunday program, I will request him, would you take some prasad? He said, no, prasad will make me weak. Let me do kirtan. And non-stop kirtan he will do. And then at the end, take a little bit to honor prasad. So that was his full determination in spreading this holy name, the mercy of Mahaprabhu, to each and every nook and corner. And so many devotees in South Africa he attracted. One of my godbrother Mukundangri Prabhu, when he came for my Guru Maharaj Vyas Puja in November, where we all gathered with Kadamba Maharaj, he was in tears and trying to mention the influence of Kadamba Maharaj, which he has in South Africa, and especially devotees in Soweto and other places. That even now, after he left a foundation there, where the proceeds of the sale of his books and CDs and all what he has left behind goes for preaching in Soweto, South Africa. He was absorbed fully in chanting the holy name. This is right his apartment, where he stayed in Vrindavan. Hearing about last year that he has stage 4 cancer, 6 to 8 months to live. He called me in early May last year and mentioned to me that, this is what it is. And then he announced after the Sadhu Sangha globally that he does not wish to take chemotherapy or this or that. Instead, just go to Vrindavan and depend on the mercy of the Supreme Lord and worship him till the end. And this is in late February, like 15-20 days before he left his body, where he's chanting his rounds on the beads And now instructing me directly, since I'm his god brother, he won't instruct me, but he'll mention to me, pass on this message. My sister-in-law is uh, his disciple. So, no, he mentioned to me, pass on this message to her to know that, always be focused in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Always be focused in chanting the holy name of the Lord. We all go through struggles in finishing our rounds. And Maharaj mentioned that with his health issue, I am also struggling. But I'm focused to chant the holy name of the Lord. His spiritual master and our spiritual master, Jayadeva Swami, mentioned to him that, Maharaj, in this pain, if you're not able to chant, each and every round, instead of chanting 16 rounds, chant on 16 beads, and each and every bead on which you chant will count as a round. And he humbly requested my Guru Maharaj that, please do not give me this instruction. I want my disciples to chant amidst all the struggle. I will also chant. And this he continued all till the end. At the end, he could hardly, he had hardly enough energy to chant on the beads. But at that time, he will chant in his mind, mansik chanting, and count, 1, 2, 3. At times, he'll wake up at 12 o'clock. Somehow or other, he'll get onto the chair, and 12 to 1, he'll chant his rounds. Again, he'll take some rest. Again, chant his rounds. In that way, exemplified this important wing of bhakti, anga of bhakti, that chanting is so important. Kali Kala Namarupa Krishna Avatar. The Supreme Lord has himself manifested in this holy name. And because of his attraction to the holy name, right, in his final days, devotees will come and chant for him. And the day when he left, also 9 to 11 we were chanting. 11:30, there's a big kirtan going on in his room, and he left amidst chanting of the holy name. So life is a preparation, death is an examination. More we attract ourselves to this holy name, more we practice ourselves in chanting the holy name, it will stay with us at the time of death. Right? And he very well exemplified the chanting of the holy name. Somehow this photo was sneaked in. No, there was no photography allowed. One of his disciples took the photo when I was sitting next to him chanting the holy name. Bhagavad Shravana, attraction to hear about Srimad Bhagavatam, Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, right? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day, here my Guru Maharaj would discuss topics of Srimad Bhagavatam for hours in the afternoon. And each and every point in detail. And his attraction was so much. See, here is himself giving a class. This was also in February, early February, right in his apartment on Srimad Bhagavatam, and discussing on topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And more we develop an attraction in hearing now the wonderful topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Chaitamrita, instruction of Bhagavad Gita, right? More will advance spiritually. Mathura Vas, he decided to go to Vrindavan for the final days. And right in September last year, during Radhasmi time, he moved to Vrindavan, where he had stayed for many years as a temple president. And everybody, it's not only the devotees remembered that. I was in Loi Bazaar and was talking to a shopkeeper. He said, "Oh yeah, we are getting everyday bulletin about his health update." And they remembered that it was the only before him, temple didn't have much savings. But when he became the temple president, uh, he ensured that temple started having savings, FDs and CDs were opened, and temple started acquiring properties, right? And ISKCON Vrindavan was expanding more and more as an expert manager. And that's how he even managed in such a way that leaving his body, he managed that, he does not live on Gaur Purnima where all the devotees are tied up in service, and left day after Gaur Purnima in Vrindavan. But there's so much affinity for Braj Mandal, where each and every place he knew about it. Each and every nook and corner of Krishna Balaram temple, he knew about it. We are living in the guest house. Which room? That room? Okay, this room. No, initially, we would know who donated that Lakshmi for that room or what was happening in that room before. Everything through his sharp memory he had. Right. Till early February, I reached on February 12th, February 6th, till February 6th, he had taken devotees on parikrama to different place, right? Where he would take to Uchagaon, the place of Lalita Sakhi, Visakha Sakhi, Kusum Sarovar, and all the different last he took devotees was to Kusum Sarovar on February 6th. And I remember him coming to my home, and many of his disciples were also here. And he said, "Oh, I have to take them to New York so that we can do some kirtan. Because if I don't engage them, right, idle mind will be at the devil's workshop. So I need to enthuse them in devotional service by taking them out for Sankirtan. So similarly, he will take devotees out for this various Leela places of the Supreme Lord in Vrindavan. And he had strong attraction. You see him completely smiling, like Pavan Sarovar in Nandagaon. In the winter time, everybody is suffering from cold, and he is completely, fully focused in chanting the holy name, leading kirtan. See, so much effulgence on his face and relishing the pastimes of the Supreme Lord on that particular different places where the Lord manifested his Leela in Vraj. So strong attraction for Mathura was, and that's how he decided, okay, I'll go back to Vrindavan to leave my body. And when he started feeling better, like Srila Prabhupada in his final days, when he was started feeling better, he said, "Oh, okay, I'll go to UK, I'll go to New York." And in December, we heard that Maharaj was also planning, he'll come back to New York. And we were kind of saying, "Oh, what's happening?" He just went, he went in September. But he decided that, if I'm feeling, my health becomes better, I'll go to Vrindavan or go to New York. and spread the mercy of the Mahaprabhu. Bharat Bhumite Hole, मनुष्य जन्म सार्थक करी परोपकार, not only upkar of ourselves, but paropakar. Preach the message of the Supreme Lord and spread the message of the Supreme Lord to others. And that was, amidst all pain. I remember on February 12th, when I went to Vrindavan, on February 11th, no, he had developed some kind of fever and he had constipation. And February 12th, his situation was bad. Now, early in December, he had consulted a local astrologer and he had mentioned that from February 5th, his condition will be in a decline stage. So February 12th, 13th, still having challenges with the constipation. He had colorectal stage 4 cancer, which had spread all the way to the lungs. Last, when they had done test, there were like close to 80 tumors near the lungs. But the spirit in which he was taking, during that particular time when I was there, I was mentioning to my Guru Maharaj, oh, okay, right now he's able to walk and go to do his daily things, about going to restroom, this. But what not? And we consulted a local doctor from the hospice, who was also a devotee in our movement. And he came to see him. And Maharaj kind of, the doctor is kind of mentioning to him that, Maharaj, we are just here to help you with your pain in your final days, to manage your pain with your willingness, without any force. And Maharaj responded back to him that, with humility, not with toughness. I think you don't know Kadamba Maharaj. Somehow Lord has given me Shakti to handle the pain. Throughout my life, I've handled extreme pains. In 1995, 97 time frame, when I was passing stool in the bathroom, I was shot because of the he was acquiring properties for the temple, and some people didn't like it, and so he was shot. And for 10-15 minutes he laid there, and then he went with all that pain by himself to the hospital. So I managed all that pain by myself. Even now, if you tell me, I can chant non-stop 1 hour and do kirtan. And we're kind of thinking, oh, okay, Maharaj is kind of getting carried away what the doctor is saying. But now he wanted to manage the pain by himself to the extent where, if it is manageable, why get into all the medicines which has all these dangerous side effects, right? And instead, why shouldn't we prepare ourselves for the inevitable? Whoever has taken birth, death is definitely jata shahi mrityu, right? That is definitely going to come to that person. So why not I live following my devotional service instead of taking this morphine and then going to sleep? Instead, I can engage myself in devotional service till the end. And no, I remember the doctor, after talking to Maharaj, had come out on the dining area, and then had gone to my Guru Maharaj's room where my Guru Maharaj, with him, he was talking. And Kanana Maharaj came to the dining area and was talking to me. He said, "Oh, he thinks that the boss is inside, but in certain things, I'll make the decisions." And that day, every day evening, Guru Maharaj was doing a Krishna book reading, and to all the assembled devotees, he would give a health update. And we were all there in the basement of MBT where Maharaj was doing Krishna book reading. And later on, we found that when we were doing the Krishna book reading, Maharaj had, with the help of few of his disciples, gotten down from the third floor where he was staying, and the elevator was not working all the way down, and going down the stairs, and he walked from there to the Goshala, which is easily a couple of, no, at least a kilometer or kilometer and a half from there. And from there to the MBT, also showing the devotees that, oh, my Guru Maharaj is giving Krishna class in the basement, so we won't go there to embrace him. And he walked back and climbed the 3 stairs as if he was getting the kick from what the doctor was saying, that, oh, no, you need probably morphine for pain management. And he wanted to prove that, I have all the energy. And when I brought that up, that, oh, how was his adventure? I heard about your adventure going out. He said, those are just rumors. Just made it sound, it's just rumors. But that was his potency. And it mentioned that it's somehow was given that amazing potency to handle pain. And till the last moment, he didn't take painkillers. He didn't take morphine till the last moment. Full consciousness. Right. I remember going back in March. I came back to US for a week and then went back. And beginning of March, as soon as I went there at 2:30 in the morning, got ready and went to his room. It was like 4:30 in the morning. And when I went, my Guru Maharaj was in the front room, just paid my obeisances. And at that time, they decided that Maharaj had become much more weaker because he was sustaining himself only on water from almost middle of February till no, we're talking about March 9th, just on water. And at that time, the person serving him had probably gone for taking some rest. And my Guru Maharaj mentioned, why don't you sit in his room? No noise, just sit in his room. And they showed me where I should sit, and I went inside, sat there, and 10 minutes or so, was sleeping on one side, and he came back on the other side, immediately uh, looked at his watch by putting some flashlight, and then flashed that light on me and said, welcome, Madhupati. And then he kind of mentioned, I was chanting in the mind, but he mentioned that, chanting keeps me awake. And I'm still struggling to figure out how he heard that inner sound. My Guru Maharaj was explaining, one whose mind is that strong, they could even hear what's going on in others' mind. Right. That's how powerful he was. And his senses were all the way till the end. 2 days before he left, he was chanting outside. The previous photo which I showed on that recliner. At that time, they would kind of wheel him on an office chair outside and then transfer him to the recliner. His energy level had gone really down. But his senses were very sharp. Um, um, Different devotees will, Matajis will bring boga for Giriraj, and one of his devotee who was assigned to take the boga from the Matajis from outside. He went outside and had some exchange with Mataji, and Mataji was mentioning something about Rabin. Rabin was my Guru Maharaj's personal servant. And immediately, Kadamba Maharaj heard something and chastised his disciple, saying, "Oh, Rabin is my Guru Maharaj's personal servant. Etiquette." So he just mentioned etiquette. You cannot be telling something, "Oh, Praveen, you do this or something." He's my Guru Maharaj's personal servant. Right. So he exemplified, even at the final stages, he was very particular about etiquette, that the devotees should follow this Vaishnava etiquette. And no point they should forget Vaishnava etiquette. Right. Yeah. Attraction to the holy place. This is the opening of the Govardhan retreat center in Govardhan by Gurujan Prabhu and Sachinandan Maharaj. Spent a lot of energy there. When he came last to New Jersey, his sister brought him from New York, and from our center, after taking darshan, he went to Satsat Maharaj's place upstate New York with my Guru Maharaj and stayed there for a few days to get his personal association. Right, so that's New York. And a message which he passed: without being merciful to others, we cannot get enough taste. Hold on for a minute, let me hear. Enough taste to maintain our Krishna consciousness. Somehow we have to do something to spread Krishna consciousness. The more we become involved in being kind and merciful, the more we'll become a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Kind and merciful. He wrote an article in Danvers, maybe in February or so, on kind and merciful. And always forgiving. Right. The Vaishnava quality of kindness and mercifulness. That till the last moment, even they have all the energy, they go on preaching Krishna consciousness. Because of their mercy for the general people who are otherwise drowning in the material ocean. Right. And he will extend himself to Rath Yatras, Durban Rath Yatra, or Soweto Rath Yatra, New York Rath Yatra. We all know our capacity. We have our limits in all directions. All these limits are expanded through empowerment, which comes from mercy. Empowerment comes from mercy. Right. Who is empowered soul as a leader by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, which was passed down through disciplic succession. Right? That's why he had this amazing energy. Utsahan nishchaya dhairya tat tat karma pravartana. Right? Amazing energy and amazing enthusiasm, amazing determination to spread Krishna consciousness. Even in his final days when Jay Pataka Maharaj called him immediately, he started talking about, that we should have a university in Mahapur. The day when I was living in end of February for a week to come here, maybe Govind Maharaj and Devamrita Maharaj came to see him. And as soon as he saw Devamrita Maharaj, knowing that, Devamrita Maharaj is GBC of New York, he started talking about, New York. Started talking about New York, that, what all still needs to happen in New York. Right. Always expanding the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Always thinking about it. Right. Till the last moment, he had this book, Forever Present, which he wanted that, a copy of that book, it's published in time that the copy of the book, that as soon as I leave my body, the copy of the book should be given to all my disciples. Minute attention to detail. He fixed up the feast, his Samadhi feast. That, these are the items we should have in the Samadhi feast. And who would make what? We were kind of thinking, we have sponsored feast, so we want this kind of Srikhand and that kind of Srikhand. Maharaj likes Srikhand a lot. But Maharaj in turn had empowered somebody that, this Mataji makes nice Srikhand, Shiv makes Srikhand. For all the devotees. Right. So he fixed up the feast. And so much minute detail which he looked at. For last 1 month after he stopped public darshan, he had stopped giving darshan, apart from giving darshan to his personal attendants. He stopped giving darshan. And now Matajis could come just to bring the boga to his place, not see him. But he made sure that that and instructed his disciples that when I leave and my body is brought down, half an hour, the first half an hour, let all the Matajis have darshan of mine. She was brought in palanquin down in the complex had a kind of a courtyard, and there all Matajis had darshan. And to that minute attention detail to each and every one of them, give them a small box of Kleenex. Right? They'll be in tears and so much in emotion. So he arranged that. Who would think in such a minute detail for each and every one of them? So he had that amazing energy to envision each and every minute detail of how his samadhi would go. His samadhi preparation, samadhi feast preparation, that his body was taken to the temple, to Prabhupada quarters, to Prabhupada samadhi, to the main temple. Right. That much detail he went through. Yeah. Yeah. This is from New York Rath Yatra. Last year, New York Rath Yatra with my Guru Maharaj. Initiation has initiated thousands of disciples all over. This is last year he performed initiation at our center, where few of our devotees got second initiation, some got first initiation. My Guru Maharaj was also initiating Mataji from our center. second initiation. So he also gave initiation. So now, man, immediately, yeah, oh, my Guru Maharaj is also going to be there. So make sure that I also have a seat, but that seat has to be lower than my Guru Maharaj seat, exemplifying that etiquette which one should follow. Yeah, my sister-in-law got initiation on Zoom. He was initiating on Zoom from Radha Desh from UK. He also gave one of his disciples sannyas initiation in UK last year. So M. Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj or Saket Bihari Prabhu got initiated in New York temple. Yeah, Amal Puran Prabhu Sandhili Mataji got initiated, second initiated here in CNJ with Mataji's mother and other devotees getting initiated. And he was present during my initiation in 2000 at Govardhan. You can see right here, Maharaj is there on the side, right, uh, extending his mercy to each and every devotee. This is a snippet which message on his website. If we are honest, then we must admit that we are not perfect. Many times we take to Krishna consciousness and we think that, oh, we have one age above others, right? But to flatten our false ego, this instruction is so essential. If we are honest, then we must admit that we are not perfect, right? Honesty and humility. He exemplified this important instruction, honesty and humility. I'm nobody great, but so much mercy carries me. I'm nobody great, but so much mercy carries me. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, is at old age, writing Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's saying, I'm not writing. Right? I'm like a worm in a stool. That's how, not, it was just uh, lip service or low self-esteem, but that's how to feel. Right? And in that mood, carry out devotional service. Carry out devotional service. Right? Yeah. This was during his last visit to CNJ. That morning before he went to Satswat Maharaj program. Yeah, and at our Akhilesh Krishna Babu's place. Gave mercy to all the CNJ devotees before he went. And knowing that, probably this would be his last visit. So many people, like on a Saturday, on a very short notice of 10 minutes, they all poured in. And instead of going there for 5-10 minutes, we stayed there for almost an hour to extend the mercy to all of them who came to see him. This was the last final Vyas Puja which we did in November, where he had told me that, due to my health, I would come there, but I won't stay till the end. But he stayed till the end, performed Aarti, such a touchy offering he made to my Guru Maharaj. That, no. Yeah. Yeah, that's 3 generations. Him, my Guru Maharaj, and then Swam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, who is a sannyas disciple of Kadamba Maharaj. And all, God, family, God brothers, his disciples, also a few of his disciples, yeah. And even family members of some of the God family. Again, um, the mercy of Sadbhuj and Giriraj. When he left, you know, uh, there was a rousing kirtan going on in his room. Um, Giriraj, everybody was in his room, but some passage was to be made so that Giriraj could see him, right? To see his pure devotee. And as soon as it was 12:06 p.m., at 12:05 p.m. on that day, Abhijit Muhurat started. But Lord also made that arrangement. That he stays till 12:06 and he left at 12:06, which also happened to be the Tithi of Tukaram when he left his body. Tukaram Bij, a famous Vaishnava saint in Maharashtra. Right. So very, very auspicious departure. Yeah, on Thursday, 9th March at 12:06 p.m., under the gaze of Sri Giriraj, in the holy land of Sri Vrindavan Dham, in the loving company of his spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, with a resounding kirtan party, Bibi Govind Maharaj led wonderful kirtan, and everybody was jumping and chanting in the room. His Holiness Kanana Maharaj departed from this material realm. Intelligent persons who take shelter of beautiful Vrindavan, the opulent wines melting with motherly love, throw far away the idea that they are material, become supremely successful both in this life and also after death. From Prabhupada Saraswati from Vrindavan, Mahimamrita. Thank you very much. This was a palanquin on which he was taken from his apartment to downstairs where he gave darshan to the temple where he went initially to Prabhupada quarters, then to Srila Prabhupada Samadhi, then to the main temple, taking darshan of his beloved Shishiko Nitai, Shishi Krishna Balram, and Shishi Radha Shyam Sundar. Before he was taken from there to Goshala in a parade with all devotees chanting the holy name of the Lord. Kanana Maharaj and so many of the Vaishnavas from other Sampradaya also were present there. And then to the Goshala where there is a special Samadhi area where few of Prabhupada disciple Samadhi is there. There he was given Samadhi by his body being prepared by his Guru Maharaj, Jayadeva Swami, and his disciple Swami Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj was also there with him in the pit where Aarti was offered by Vasudev Prabhu. And everybody was chanting, and everybody got mercy to sprinkle initially the salt and then dirt. And he will stay in his memories and his instructions. I was going through his website, his blog, and he has so many things there, so many wonderful instructions there that you can hear and hear and hear. He has left a legacy. Like as I mentioned, he has published also a few books. I believe locally, Amala Puran Prabhu, Sandini Mataji are also handling this book distribution part of it. Yeah. So take this wonderful opportunity to hear or read his books. His last books, he was anxiously waiting during his final days for our god brother Rupa Sanatan Prabhu was in Govardhan. And as soon as Rupa Sanatan Prabhu came, the third of the day when I was leaving Vrindavan in February, Now he started talking with Rupa Sanatan Prabhu about the book, New Yorker, put together by Satyaraj Prabhu. And now we started talking about the book, making sure that all the projects which he had are now passed on or completed. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Are there any discussions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Devotees, if you have any comments or personal realizations or memories of Maharaj, if you'd like to share. But before that, I'll just take 30 seconds to just announce our upcoming programs. Please bear with me for a moment. So this Wednesday Sangha has been going on for a few years, and every week we have this program. So if anybody's interested to know who's the next week's speaker, can just go on our website and check out. We invite devotees and senior devotees from all over the world. This coming Sunday, His Grace Dinabandhu Prabhu will be speaking at the center. Also, other information is on the site, our weekly Bhakti Riksha program, Bhagavad Gita readings during the week, daily morning japa, Vaishnava calendar, and like previous recordings, today's recording will also be on our YouTube channel and on our website, so you can check it out. Anybody would like to share or have any questions? I would like to start, Rudy. I was curious to know that where are Maharaj's deities now and who's serving them?
Yeah, very nice. So before he left, all those details were kind of put in veil, that who would serve his deities. So his Giriraj deities has come to New York, being served by Vasudeva Prabhu, his senior disciple, and the Sadbhuj deity, this devotee from Durban, South Africa. What's his name? Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu. Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu, he was also there. So Sadbhuj deity was assigned to him to take care of the deity and serve them. His personal servant Nitai was all the time serving in his final days to him. He empowered him so much and gave so much mercy to him. And even on the final day, once I could hear him speaking of Nitai. At night also Nitai. So Nitai will be traveling around Jagannath Sutta. So devotees who were personal attendants of his, they were also assigned that, okay, after he leaves, what their task would be. Yeah. So that's about the deities.
Thank you. I personally had a wonderful experience also, and now I can relate to when you said that how Maharaj paid attention to details. And I remember once in Philadelphia Rath Yatra, where we had talked about the new temple coming up in New Jersey, and so what's the plan? He was asking me, for Tawako, what's going to happen? And I said, Maharaj, it's going to be sold. And Maharaj he expressed that is such a wonderful property, should never be sold. We should keep it. And then he said we should make it into a retreat center for devotees who are fighting out in the war. They come back here to recuperate. And that was it. But then when we were in Philadelphia, the Rath Yatra again, I was so shocked because Maharaj again came up to me and he started the same discussion. And, I was a nobody. I'm a nobody too. But Maharaj several times even he put his hand on my shoulder and he made me feel so special that this is Maharaj doing. And I know Amal Puran was there. He was taking some videos and even taking some pictures, which I should get from him. But he would make you feel as if, so much importance. And he also told me that you're preaching and do not, this is wonderful. This is very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. Just a little inspiration from him went a long way. So gave a lot of strength that go and preach. And as you mentioned, till his last moment. And I was just noticed, and I was just comparing the similarity between all the senior devotees like Maharaj and like Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Jayadvaita Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj, Loknath Swami Maharaj, and many others that have the Indradyumna Swami, that even at this age with other challenges, they are just out there preaching. And it's very sad and shameful sometimes where devotees do not appreciate that. We are our acharyas ask us to spread. They themselves are doing that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes people become in a very comfort zone. But it's something to learn that if we really call like I remember this Prabhupada used to say that Jesus is also our guru because we are following his instructions. So, we should, I'm also trying, but we should all try to imbibe their teachings and go out and spread the message. Otherwise, we shouldn't be calling ourselves disciples of certain Maharajas if we don't take their,
So Maharaj's instruction to his disciples and well-wishers was that they should all make it a point to go back to Godhead in this lifetime itself. Right. There'll be those who are strong, there are those who are weak. But the strong has to help the weak. Not that, okay, that's their karma, they're gone. But the strong has to help the weak. And in community, it's harmoniously carry forward. Like, he exemplified this more. That, okay, didn't give personal darshan, but he exemplified, when I kind of mentioned, Sandhini Mataji had come with me in February and kind of mentioned, cannot take darshan, so she's thinking of going. She said, no, my dear, to my disciples, I've kind of taught them all that, they can serve in so many different ways. They can serve in so many different ways. They can get plugged into the team who is serving Giriraj. Right. And Maharaj also personally wrote. So that kind of exemplifies a mood where that each and every person, as you mentioned, like it's a special person coming to Krishna consciousness. Right. When he initiated my sister-in-law, I'm giving you first initiation, but I could also give you second. So now it's like extending his mercy, to each and every devotee whom he will meet. I have short time before I leave. I'll make sure that they are connected in Krishna consciousness, and they remain connected in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Okay.
One point that you mentioned about etiquettes and where he pointed out that he's my Guru Maharaj's servant, so he shouldn't just be ordering like that. Such a powerful message from that. We many times take it for granted because a senior devotee jokes around. We take it. We try to become friends, and then we forget where the boundary should be. And this really teaches and reminds us that those boundaries should never. It's the etiquettes are jewels for a devotee.
Yeah. Like a spiritual master's god brother has to be treated as a spiritual master, and Guru Maharaj would exemplify that. If I say by the first name, oh, this devotee or that devotee, and his Prabhupada disciple, oh, how can utter his name like that? You will immediately chastise, right? So that should be the Vaishnava etiquette. Because if the Vaishnava etiquette is not there, then everything will crash, right? So um, he ensured that no, it's followed. And immediately, at that time, hardly, he had energy to say many things, but he would just kind of just say, how can you do this? Etiquette, with such difficulty, he was articulating that word, etiquette, but he said etiquette. Immediately emphasized that point, etiquette. Right. Yeah, thank you.
What should we? So we all are going to go through that final exam,
Yeah,
and how can we prepare for that? Not knowing when, Maharaj knew that his time was coming close. For us, we think we don't know. How do we keep ourselves conscious? How do we be conscious about that death can happen at any moment
yeah,
and be prepared for it?
yeah. So as you mentioned rightly, that now we have to rise above our comfort zone to be complacent. Now these disciples of Maharaj who came from different areas, all had jobs, all had so many pressing things, but somehow or other they came there to serve Maharaj. And similarly, services like we hear from the disciple course, service is done in Vapu Seva and Vani Seva. Service is always there. So much abundance of service is there. So never be too complacent. And no, if we want to make this as our final lifetime, Brahmande Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Bija, right? We're somehow or other fortunate to get this mercy. So to make the best use of this mercy, which is given by the Parampara to us through our spiritual master, and not ruin that opportunity which is passed on. So, uh, get off our comfort zone and try to preach Krishna consciousness as much as possible, with humility, tolerance, Trinadapi Sunichan and Tarolapi Savisna, without the fault finding tendency, maintaining the Vaishnava etiquette. Right? Uh, we should continue performing devotional service. And in devotional service, just like recently we had Ramayana, with the squirrel performing a task or with Hanumanji performing task, they're the same, right? If they are extending it out, the fullest capacity, right? Whether you clean the bathrooms or somebody is serving the deities, the devotional service is the same. Both are performing devotional service. Both needs to be appreciated, right, and respected that they're performing devotional service. Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. But do not discriminate or do not discourage or do not
Yes.
criticize or trying to spread the movement.
Yeah. 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 We should be very careful of Vaishnava Aparad, right? Just like in Vrindavan, one service we do, the benefit exemplifies many times. One fault finding we do, the sins also exemplifies many times. So we should be very careful. Yeah.
Does anybody have any question or comment or realization, memories? Please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Okay. Okay, Shakri Kaur Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for taking us down the memory lane. Um, yeah, I was very affected when I got to hear about the departure of Maharaj, and I online saw his Samadhi Yatra and everything. And yes, I heard what his Guru Maharaj had to say about him, that how he had this Kshatriya side of him and his Brahmana side, and in Kshatriya side also he was just amazing. And there were so many stories that he was saying that uh, me not being in his close disciple group, I didn't know so many stories. Always appreciated him from a distance, to say that. I just remember what my Guru Maharaj had to say about him. I remember at one point in time, he told us that even before Sadhu Sangha, uh, my Guru Maharaj knew about the health issues of Kadam Swami Maharaj. And when he saw him doing kirtan at Sadhu Sangha, he told him that, Maharaj, how can you do this? I mean, this is just unthinkable. And Maharaj told my Guru Maharaj that what to do. I don't plan it. It just happens. And Guru Maharaj was saying that it just shows that how connected he is to the holy name. He's the holy name, just he's just beyond that bodily conception. For us, we may think that, oh, it's a disease, oh, he's in pain, but his dependence on holy name has just taken him to another level altogether. So it just didn't feel like that he was going through all that at that point in time. And then I remember at one other occasion, Guru Maharaj said that, you know Maharaj is one person who can solve any problem. And so whenever it is managerial problems or related to devotee care or anything, any problem if you have at hand, if one person in ISKCON who can handle it, it's Kadam Swami Maharaj. So yeah, I was just thinking about those two things. And then all the stories came about, and today when you narrated all his pastimes so beautifully, it just all come together. And it's more, even when he passed away, I was just thinking that rather than feeling, of course, the loss that we've had of this great Vaishnava, his kirtans, his lectures, everything about him was just so inspiring. Of course, that is there, but at the same time, I was just feeling that how lucky I am to be in a movement where it has been started by Prabhupada, and we have leaders like Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj, we have Kadam Swami Maharaj, and so many other leaders, and they are all if anything else, if I could do with my life this time, it just take inspiration and just take their instructions and do what they ask us to do without even thinking about what am I asking. They have charted the path for us. All we need to do is be honest to ourselves, take that little courage, take that leap of faith, and just take that path. And they do promise what's there at the end of this path. All we have to do is just take that step, just that. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for doing this today. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for nicely pointing out wonderfully. Yeah, we just follow on the footsteps. And here we also learn another important lesson. There are those who criticize that Prabhupada is the last link. But here itself, we see the process. Prabhupada's disciple, Jayadvaita Maharaj's disciple, Kanana Maharaj, and we see that passing. It's so much instruction, so much process, with full love for the Supreme Lord, and chanting the holy name. He left the body. So that means that the process works. We cannot just say that, oh no, Prabhupada is the last link. Srila Prabhupada instructed this process of disciplic succession. And the process works. And if we can follow the path, will go back to God in this very lifetime. Thank you very much, Mother.
Just for everybody's knowledge sake, Sakri Kurmat just talking about our Guru Maharaj. She's a disciple of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhuji.
Okay.
Panshi, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada, all glories to His Holiness Kanana Swami. I am kind of new to this community in a way that in England and when I was in London, UK, I was lucky to have Maharaj's association and a lot of visiting Maharajas. And I was kind of like figuring out, I joined Krishna consciousness through university. So I spent like 10, 12 years kind of like figuring out the Copra preaching programs in Mantra Lounge, etc., etc. And at that time, I thought, I have time. Let me just get my rounds in order. Let me get my sadhana in check. And then suddenly I got married and I moved to Indianapolis. And a lot changed in my life in the span of last 5 years. And I was just getting the grip of that. And I was taking a lot of inspiration from Maharaj's kirtans and instructions. And I met him at New York Rath Yatra. And I told Maharaj, I was like, is it late? Because I've always aspired, but I never got a chance to take that initiation because the life kind of like got in the way. And Maharaj recorded a really nice message about what is really important is for us to chant the holy name, follow, as Mataji and Prabhu, you've kindly explained, it's like follow the Shastra and like Guru's instructions. And the most emphasis he gave was everyone to come together and do more events like this. So more Sankirtan and more devotee cultivation, devotee care. And I think that one thing I learned from Maharaj's instruction that day, when I had tears in my eyes and I felt like I missed the boat, I deeply felt like when I had opportunity, I didn't make use of it. And Maharaj clearly said, there is never a loss in spiritual life. Sorry, I'm feeling emotional, but and luckily, or unfortunately or fortunately, but I happened to be in Vrindavan when Maharaj left his body. And that morning, I was just praying to Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar that I really wish if I could see Maharaj. And that day I arrived in Vrindavan and I had no idea about his situation had deteriorated to that level. But I was just meditating. I was like, if there is a way I could see Maharaj. Within half an hour, the news broke and I got to be involved with the whole Samadhi process. And it was 3 times I decided to keep myself out of disciples line. And 3 times I got pushed in. I pushed in and I got to have like personal darshan of Maharaj. I got to like offer him my prayers and my message, the personal message. And I feel like he reciprocated. He reciprocated in many ways that I can't even explain. Now, question is, how do I move forward from this? Because in Indianapolis, we don't have, I mean, we built a temple in 2018 because I absolutely could not survive without ISKCON community. So we got few families together and then we bought a church, we established a center. But every center has, when there are people and when there is organization, there's always conflict. And I am kind of, I don't know. I don't know where to go from here because although I had that connection with Maharaj, but I didn't get that closure. I was really hoping when I would see Maharaj, I would seek further instructions.
Yeah, very good, Mataji. Yeah, so as I mentioned, Maharaj has left behind a legacy in form of his instructions in many of his lectures and books and kirtan. They're always there with us. And seek shelter of that. Seek shelter of other senior Vaishnavas whom you can reveal your heart and be nourished in Krishna consciousness. As you so nicely mentioned, your experiences that how that inconceivable mercy manifested. Right? That inconceivable mercy manifested. Maharaj living is not no, it's like there's this wonderful saying, Vaishnavas never die. They always live in the Brahman's instructions. So he's always there in his instructions, and that we take it to heart. But he has not left. He's always there in his instructions. And whenever we feel lost, that we don't have path, no, means take his shelter, right? Take his shelter. See, no, means meditate on his. If you have a photo, meditate on his photo, and no, means you'll reveal some instruction.
I kind of requested all the people from our community to kind of get together today to Kirtan. But one important message that came forward was his actual Vyas Puja day is on 19th.
Yes.
So I still have time to just organize something. And
Yeah.
I was struggling to find, I know everybody kind of instructs me because I am from London, UK, and a lot of devotees are there. They always tell me seek guidance from the senior Vaishnava here. But Indianapolis, we had no devotees when I moved in. So we were generating and we're cultivating. Well, while I'm still in the process, I'm also sharing, and like with Krishna's mercy, like we have a lot of deeply spiritual people. So they do come together every Sunday, we do events. But I don't have anybody that I can look up to and I can seek instructions from. As far as I'm aware, I don't know anyone locally that I can take shelter or get instructions from. I message His Holiness Swam Bhagwan Keshav Swami, but he's traveling and I don't feel like I want to bother him that much. So I was wondering if there is like a local Sangha group, which is based in US, that I could possibly join.
Yeah, many of Maharaj's disciples are there in Brooklyn. They are celebrating the Vyas Puja this coming Saturday in
Oh,
Brooklyn
wonderful.
Temple. Yeah, but no, his actual Tithi day is on 19th, as you mentioned rightly. So, no, always think, I mean, they're always there. I mean, in my contact information, you can get it from Ramchandra Babu. I mean, I'll be more than glad in any way or shape, in any assistance to get plugged in your area. Take shelter of the Bhakti Rickshaw nicely. And as you mentioned, yes, conflicts will be there. Wherever there is organization, conflicts will be there. But one has to rise over the conflicts.
Yes.
Somehow or other, this material world is filled with conflicts. The nature of this Kali Yuga is quarrel and hypocrisy. So
which I'm not really complaining, because everything happens for a reason. And I feel like maybe time that Lord's kind of indicating me, or maybe Guru Maharaj, he's like pushing me to like go deeper in my sadhana, take shelter. And maybe this is my time to kind of like take sadhana so sincerely. I've been so involved with like balancing work, life, kids, and growing family, and also at the same time Sankirtan movement. So I was all about giving, but at the same time, is my sadhana that quality? And that's a big question mark. And that's where I feel like maybe it's time for me to like take a step back. And it doesn't matter what's going around the world, but I need to like go deeper. And like losing Maharaj personally, I always had a hope that I'll have like one-on-one connection. I always had a hope that I'll be able to invite all the senior Vaishnavas. So I was too focused on building this temple that once I'll establish a temple, I can invite sannyasis and I can invite all the senior Vaishnavas. But it's a deep realization that I've been going through since past month or so, that it's not about who I can invite. It's about how deep am I going in this sadhana while cultivating. So I would much appreciate if I can have just US devotees based association, because I'm very much connected with my UK friends, but there is always a time difference. And work doesn't always allow me to kind of attend all the UK programs.
Mhm. Yeah, so internalizing, as you mentioned, it's like Maharaj in his later days internalized a lot. He had gotten later days when energy was low, could hardly speak, it was more and more internalized, right? So, and as I mentioned, his full focus on sadhana and emphasis on it till the very end. This, no, it's an instruction.
Yes.
And when I juggle with my work and spiritual life balance, and at times I say, "Oh, today, I'll not finish my rounds. I'll do it tomorrow." No, I just immediately remember, I want to finish it today itself, whether it is 11 or 12 o'clock. So I'll wake up and chant 16 good rounds as much as possible. I should chant, internalizing it myself. So, and that sadhana is very much required from all of us, so that we can stay afloat in devotional life and in the sangha of devotees. In the chat, I shared my email. Anytime you have questions, more than open to share.
Thank you so much. I just want to share one thing that I always get inspiration from Maharaj is he mentioned when he was a president, there was a lot of like political issues that he was dealing with. At
Mm-hmm.
that time, he used to wake up at 2 a.m. From 2 till 4, he would
Yeah.
finish his round, then Mangal Aarti, and then he would read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that just stays with me every time whenever like those Maharaj's words are resonating with me, that if you really want to be sincere in your spiritual life, there are no excuses. Work
That's
is always going to be there. You just have to make time and make that as your priority. And I think last month that I'm working on it, and I really just hope and pray all the devotees listening. I'm sorry I went overboard, but just keep the community in your prayers, because Maharaj left a really nice message for Indianapolis community. And I feel like all of us need kind of like your prayers and blessings in order to grow. So thank you for organizing it and making me part of it.